Hi, I'm Chuck Colson with this week's 2-Minute Warning. I recently came across one of my favorite quotes. It was prophetic. It was from 19th century Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard. Here's what he said. Suppose someone invented an instrument, a convenient little talking tube by which could be heard all over the whole land. I wonder if the police would not forbid it, fearing that the whole country would become mentally deranged. Well, if Kierkegaard were alive today, looked at the US media, he would realize how prophetic he really was over a century ago, and he would probably tell us, I told you so. But just look at the nightly news, if you dare. Every night another mind-numbing story about politics, whether it's Scott Brown's pickup truck or Representative Maas's bizarre shower room encounters with the Chief of Staff, Rahm Emanuel. The media just loves political circus. And have you noticed that everything's historic now? Well, fair enough. In one sense, Barack Obama's election was historic, the first African-American president, but how historic really were the Republican wins in Virginia, New Jersey, and Massachusetts? Significant? Okay. Historic? And now we're gearing up for the historic primaries, followed by historic congressional elections. Whew. America, we got a problem. We're succumbing to what the eccentric French thinker Jacques Ellul prophesied in the 1960s. He wrote a book called The Political Illusion, and he predicted the politicization of all aspects of life. Ellul foresaw the information age and the media's need for a steady flow of information to feed the populace. Media would therefore gravitate to covering centers of power, and the politicians would be willing accomplices because they would gain fame and clout. This, Ellul warned, would lead to increasing dependence on the state by ordinary citizens and decreasing citizen control of government. We see the result today. More and bigger government programs, new agencies. Government has become so unwieldy that it can hardly function. Just think about it. We spent billions of dollars fighting terrorism. Now our government couldn't stop a Nigerian terrorist from boarding and trying to blow up a plane bound for the US, even though his name was on a terrorist watch list. Ellul also foresaw that when government becomes all-intrusive, the vital intermediate structures that keep societies healthy and vibrant, families, churches, voluntary associations, they'd collapse. And when that happens, tyranny becomes inevitable. So what's the answer? Well, it's not despair. God has redeemed societies much worse off than ours. Look what happened in England in the era of John Wesley and William Wilberforce, what they accomplished in the latter part of the 18th century and throughout the 19th century in England, a country that embraced slavery, child labor, and winked at political corruption. Their efforts, empowered by the Holy Spirit, ushered in one of the great century-long revivals of Christianity. England was not only saved, it was stronger than ever. We Christians now, as good citizens, have got to recognize our duty. It's up to us to rebuild civil society, not to fall for the illusions. And we've got to strengthen these intermediate structures, which is exactly what Wesley and Wilberforce did. But there's no time to lose. If, as I believe, the political illusion has America by the throat, there are only two possible outcomes. Revolution, which is what the Tea Party people suggest, albeit peacefully, or tyranny. Remember, God is sovereign. He's acted again and again throughout history to change the course of history. But for that to happen, the church had better sober up and recognize the political illusion which has us in its terrible embrace. I'm Chuck Colson. That's this week's 2-Minute Warning.